A donkey and a monkey. Well, say something about it when I've read it. Disciples of a donkey, do they come to learn attitudes and platitudes stamped on their reptile minds? That parrot, this carrot, are other signs for sure. A donkey and a monkey facing off caprichos that the monkey plunks on la guitarra soundlessly, the donkey following in wonder, strangers clapping hands and crying, hey, ole. A donkey like a monkey reads a book, a monkey like a donkey listens. He sees a pair of donkey faces, lines of A's across a chalkboard, easy aces, donkey silhouettes in gray, a spunky donkey in a coat, his muzzle pressed against the dead man's chest, the best he has to show. Hello, caprichos. No, I was Heriberto because of, the death of his mother was not able to be here, and of course he worked with me in assembling this in the form of an anthology of myself. There's a little game with one who would translate the poetry. The donkey, monkey, spunky, funky. Heriberto translated the caprichos, but this was this would stump anybody, and I felt badly about it. From a book of concealments. And in this, I was also incorporating, I was working on another one of the big books, the third volume of Poems for the Millennium, which goes back into the 19th century, Romanticism. So there's a lot of inserted quotations from Romantic poets. But this one is comes out of conversation with Diane Rothenberg and others, who will say, looking at the world around us, I can't remember living in a worse time than this. So I always take the other position, which is expressed in this. The times are never right. Warm days hanging over San Diego, where streets slide into murky canyons. What is this but home, and what is home but a misnomer? Pisces has shifted into Aries, aggravated bumps shadowing the server's arms, are no concern to anyone, yet call to our attention, show a strain of fearsomeness hard to conceal. The times are never right. The skin of air is over everything. The sun flows like a liquid. All the universe we see has never happened. There is no truth to time except for birthdays. In a city under siege, a ceremony gathers, scattering the birds. We live forever in the instant, in the house we share. A groom and bride are figures smaller than a thumb, and little reckoning how short the passage between death and life. For Diane's birthday. And I think I'll end the reading of poems. With a poem of some length, called a poem of miracles. This began with a request to write a poem for Jack Collins' 80th birthday. And I did a couple of pages of poem. Became part of, whatever book was being assembled. And then I realized that if Jack Collins was going to be 80 years old, I was also. So I continued it. And it's called The Poem of Miracles. It's divided into numbered sections. I will read it without the numbers, because it began to feel to me more and more like a single poem, a poem, not poems of miracles, but a poem of miracles. A miracle more ordinary than the grass under our feet, the hot sun as it dazzles eyes and skin, so many memories blending into one, we have no place to go but where we are, no nearer to the end than to the source. A miracle open on all sides toward which the mind moves slowly and the eye, as in a dream, opens and shuts. Clouds without rain cover the sun. The animal that sleeps over our skylight knows neither rest nor waking, only a dream. Turn of the hand by which a perfect bird comes into view, a flight over the heads of some, no mystery in what we see. We walk away from it, no sooner gone when something ever bright, a flash of wing, assails us, heretofore concealed. The real comes first, the fancy a far second, hard to tell apart, still harder in the dark, the eye too weak, the skin still weaker, like the mind. The origin of species hides its birth, the contours of the real, the hand feels and the eye imagines, only later in singular pursuit. A miracle to make the seen forerunner of the unseen, the animal you see, its metamorphosis deferred, imagination lurks here, brings concealments into light, the world inside the mind turns upside down. A miracle to live a life in celebration, knowing fear and feeling death. He finds the poem more to his taste. They call it fancy, a game of chance or choice that pulls the mind back from the literal, opens a door to the imagined real. A miracle from which the other miracle proceeds, the owl living night long in the palm tree, a flight of pelicans, brown shadows east of where the sun touches the ocean, a miracle of distant bodies, voices from the sky, sounds absent words. A miracle, the sun crushed by its clouds, the mind retreats from bloodlines staining the horizon, raining down. The word is firmament, a cracked sky over the sun and moon, imagined trackers behind which light seeps forth, a field of stars. A miracle, our lives that pass a barrier, the evil wind is not so evil, but brings us words to string into a poem, nowhere to go but up and out. The miracle even to know that knowing ends, having all tried and failed against the odds. A miracle of darkness hides the light itself, a miracle in which infinities escape us as we plunge on in hot pursuit. The ocean capped by scarlet clouds, a miracle or not, the sand below is pink or mauve or amber, open and shut. A miracle, the light a miracle, the night a miracle, the sea a miracle, the tree a miracle, the bird a miracle, the word a miracle, the rain a miracle, the brain a miracle, the time a miracle, the rhyme a miracle, the breath a miracle, the death a miracle, the light a miracle. A miracle to have been here and to vanish as the time ends, no more real than anything we know or run from. In my hand, all touch astounds me. Color of the dead is also touch. Their faces and their voices pressed against me, touch by touch. A miracle that words are green still, after an age of dryness, that the rising sap fills leaves and shoots, the sun still bright in the engulfing dark, is an illusion barely known, a deeper darkness hiding all, the firmament unhinged, a miracle that from this transient place a universe is born. Sheer accident denotes a further miracle. The dish falls from my hand and finds the ground. An apple shows the marks of teeth. A rush of things more real than words or less. The time has come to add up what we know. It floats in air. I reach for it. The grass sweats, words turn green, a finger signals a new miracle. The sky leads into empty space. The mind is helpless to address or fill. Only in this little world can we both love and kill. The solipsist, this king here waiting for the end of time and knowing that it's endless. A miracle by which the dead animal and man lie fallen never to rise again, but sanguine in their dissolution. The slow progression into flesh and out again continues while the world does. Only then no trace of mind remains truer than this. A miracle, the small worlds and the vast, the way the blood appears sudden and hot, the sun at daybreak lighting the wound. The firmament persists over the sun and moon, the deeper image that hides where light and dark change places, a time that makes a mystery of time and space. A miracle to place a foot on solid ground and know the earth rotates 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, barely an inch at either pole. The ordinary rise and fall of how we breathe and move, steps taken in the rush and crush of galaxies, dark more than light. If time is endless, what we feel as time deceives us with the miracle of what we feel, the ordinary push of days against the grain. A miracle, the lie of beauty dazzles us, deceitful elf, duende and capriccio, hiding pain and hunger, ready to explode. A miracle, the earth collapsing into ruin while the larger world survives. Us say the human ceases, gone astray, and leaves a trace behind, a breath or whisper ready to become a word. The picture in the mind is not a picture until you call it forth, a pixel at a time. A miracle where none exists, to call your own mind into being, then to touch the hairs, the skin from which they spring. The ordinary smells that sex brings and the heat rising from the depths. A history contained, a touch of fingers, not the first or last. The final letter names the end and vanishes. The miracle of sound absorbed the body free to speak its world. A miracle, the tread of foot on earth, the earth a further miracle. The firmament no longer there to stunt our view. A miracle of sequence, numbers covering a wall, the sky itself a field of numbers, numbers as an alphabet, a game of numbers, lightly drawn and lightly peppering the ground, inscribed in dreams, a dream of hunger leading to a world counted and numbered and grafted in the flesh. A miracle, the flowers in the garden grow tacky and decline. The path to the miraculous, not what we thought or ever reckoned, but to draw breath day by day, waiting for the breath to be exhausted, the flow of blood to dry, the miracle of death, the greatest miracle. A miracle to wake up from a dream and count the dream itself, a miracle, the flower in the dream, as ordinary as the flower awake. And spoken in your voice, the word is such a flower, broken and adrift, the sound reverberating, more a miracle than what the eye sees or the mind knows. A miracle to have been spared this far, the beauty in the little known, the everyday repeated at a finger's touch to translate what we know to what's barbaric, vast, and wild. The book of witness opens, all the words we have are theirs to lead us eyeless, whispering the years themselves a miracle over against a world of pain. Coda for Diane. A miracle, the unseen overtaking us, the larger world in darkness, darker than the mystery of birth. The miracle resides in what we see and touch. So good to be here and to bow to you, my dearest friend in darkness. As the poet said.
Thank you.